Please don't confuse dark magic with devil fruits. They are two different things in the One Piece world. For a long time, people believed the five elders ate devil fruits. And I don't blame them because devil fruits is the primary powers in One Piece that would allow someone to turn into a giant monster. And then you have to factor in the awakening cloaks around the elders. And it becomes quite clear that Oda is trying to steer our attention into the direction of believing they ate devil fruits. But there are also arguments that could be made that they didn't eat devil fruits, and that's the side I'm on, and that's the whole point of this video. The first argument is the narrator box Oda uses to introduce them. The Gyuki, the Itsumade, the Hoki, the Bakotsuku, the Sandworm. That's different from how Oda introduced zones in the past. When Rob Lucci was introduced, Oda didn't just put the leopard in the narrator box. He said the cat no mi mortal leopard. Or when King the Wildfire was introduced, Oda didn't say the dragon. He introduced it as the dragon no mi mortal pterodon. In both instances, the suffix no mi is added to the animal, and that suffix is important when confirming devil fruits to be in play. On top of that, we have Emu stripping away Satan's power like he is an insect. The fact that he can take it away is proof that Emu gave the elders their powers to begin with, which strengthens my belief that they don't have devil fruits. Since devil fruits are the primary source of power in One Piece, I can understand the doubt. But what if I told you that there is a logical explanation for the five elders' abilities, and that explanation is dark magic in the One Piece world? You ever wonder how a person can maintain power for over 800 years? And my friend, that answer is pretty simple. It's fair. Them niggas scared of Emu. Have you ever heard of the term, who giveth can taketh away? Well, that saying perfectly embodies Emu and what we saw at the end of Egghead with Saturn. You see, I believe the magic circles we see are all Emu's doing. But the real question is how? And my answer to that is simple. The national treasure of the Holy Land. You see, Sabo was in line when he said he saw hell at the top of the world. Because I believe that's what the national treasure does. It gives Emu access to hell. I know it sounds crazy, but stick with me to the end of this video and I promise you I will turn you into a believer. And don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button for access to hell of those videos I'll be dropping in the future. Now back to business. In order for this to make sense, firstly we have to establish hell as a real place in the One Piece world, and I feel like Oda has already done that. For the sake of this video, I will be referring it to a term that you already know as the Underworld. I am not talking about the legal business dealing Underworld that Doflamingo introduced us to. I am talking about the Soul King Brook type Underworld. So let's take a look at him. After eating the Yomi Yomi no Mi, Brook's soul took a year to find his body. But have anyone ever asked where did Brook's soul come back from? Well, Brook has already told us, and it's the Underworld. Brook confirmed this because he is able to channel the ice of the Underworld as a part of his attack base. But the problem is Brook had to die and come back to gain access to the ice of the Underworld. This is not something that can be replicated by people that are alive in the One Piece world. And that's where the national treasure of the Holy Land comes into play. I feel like it's a bridge, or should I say a key to the Underworld, and Emu is basically the gatekeeper of the Underworld. I know you're probably thinking, how did Emu become the gatekeeper of the Underworld in the first place? What makes Emu different from the five elders or any high-ranking Holy Knight? And my answer to that is the eternal youth surgery that has been speculated to have been performed on him. I think we can all agree that every great power in One Piece has a cost, and the greater the power, the greater the price you pay. An example of this would be devil fruits. Sure, you can create magma and earthquakes and tsunami and a ton of wild shit, but you lose your ability to swim. Considering the fact that we are constantly on the seas, that's a huge price to pay. Emu's price is far greater than becoming an anchor to the sea. I feel like the national treasure of the Holy Land has a toll that must be paid to use it, and the biggest price to use the national treasure is lifespan. That's why Emu is the king, because he has unlimited lifespan. He basically is the fuel source for the national treasure of the Holy Land. It's no coincidence Doflamingo wanted the eternal youth surgery done on him. He knows the toll of the national treasure, and he knows the price, and he knows the devil fruit needed to make the national treasure work. That's why he was like power rots. If not for the eternal youth surgery, Emo would look like a rotten corpse based on how much he spams the national treasure of Marjos just to make everything fall in place. It's also not a coincidence that Doflamingo is one of the primary figures in the commerce sector of the Underworld in One Piece. He was the go-to guy when you needed to buy illegal or forbidden products. This concept is the same with Emo and the National Treasure. It grants access to forbidden, or should I say taboo powers of the underworld. That's basically the realm of the dead. Another thing I could see Oda using as payment to grant Emo access to the underworld is human sacrifices. I am talking slaves. What gives me this idea is Basil Hawkins the magician. In order for Hawkins to redirect damage, he needs sacrifices to do so. So the idea is kind of the same with the elders. Every time the elders regenerate, hypothetically the damage is redirected to the slaves below Marjos. I love this idea because that would mean the world government is literally operating on the back of slaves. They would be the fuel source for the elders' powers too, which is diabolical. Another thing I want to focus on is the different powers from the underworld. Brook can channel the cold winds of the underworld, and it doesn't stop though. We have already confirmed that he can do this. So the first ability of the underworld is summoning abilities. This is one of the main abilities of the underworld. I believe if you sacrifice a huge amount of lifespan, you can use a magic circle to travel anywhere in the world that you have been to before instantly. Oda kind of previewed this concept of summoning during Brook's 2 years away from the crew. A bunch of devil worshippers was around a magic circle praying for the devil to appear before them, and that's when Brook showed up. The second ability of the National Treasure Marjos is binding abilities. The creatures the Gorosei transform into naturally exist in the underworld, roaming from place to place. What I feel Emu does is bind these creatures to high-ranking celestial dragons. That's why Oda avoided putting Nomi on the Elders title box. It's because the Elders never ate devil fruits to get their abilities. Their abilities are underworld monsters that were binded to them through the use of the National Treasure of Marjos. I would like to think a huge amount of blood sacrifices are required for Emu to perform a binding. For the sake of this video, let's say 50,000 slaves at minimum to perform a binding. The last power of the National Treasure Marjos is regeneration. This is also an ability of the underworld that the elders have access to because of the National Treasure. In order to use this ability, Emu pays in lifespan or the damage is redirected to the slaves on some Hawkins type shit. My point is, a price have to be paid. The Gorosei and Emu them, they ain't doing this stuff we seeing for free. A huge price being paid that viewers are not seeing right now. If you feeling the video, like, subscribe, and join the notification gang. I appreciate y'all. It's been real.